I'm not looking for a crash in the stock market or gold or silver or anything of that nature. I've said that before. 26 looks like to be a panic cycle year, not just in our war models, but also in the euro.
The Financial Survival Network.
And welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Martin Armstrong is with us now. We just want to make this statement before we start. We're both very happy. We're not depressed. And if we disappear or anything happens to us, it wasn't us. Somebody else did it. But it just made me think of your travails, your journey, and basically thinking about the whole government shutdown. What's the end result of the government shutdown? Is it a further erosion of trust in the government, or was this just all theater?
Last year at the WEC, a lot of people were kind of surprised, but I stood up and I said, look, the computer says the Democratic Party is going to split and eventually become, non-existent. Everyone went, like, oh my God, really? People don't realize, there was even the Democratic Republican Party of Jefferson was against the Federalists. The Federalists, disappeared. They lost. And then the Democratic Republican Party of Jefferson split into the Democrats and Republicans. So these things aren't unique or off the wall. And the computer is basically saying, hey, it's happening again. And just look at Schumer, for example. He is just desperate to hang on to power. He's been kowtowing to the left wing, progressives or whatever you want to call them, who are just rapidly insane. It's their way or nothing. And they want absolutely no compromise whatsoever. It's not that, this is like Democrat versus Republican like when we were kids. This is different ideas, and you're seeing it in the Democratic Party, which is just so far to the left, and the other side is like moderate. I had Democratic friends that always voted Democrat, and they sent me, pictures of like all gender bathrooms and said, who I'm voting for.
So this is a good time to mention that we've just dropped the next book, which picks up where the world, according to Martin Armstrong, left off at the Armstrong Economic Code, The 5 Truths Investors Must Never Forget. It's available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and wherever fine books used to be sold. And there'll be a link in the show notes. You can buy it there, or just shoot me an email, KL@Kerry Lutz, and I'll send you the link. And kind of excited about this because it's coming out right when your World Economic Conference is coming out. And what can we look forward to? Like, what are your top 3 forecasts? We got the Democratic Party is toast, but what else can you tell us?
We have to understand that currency is a very important aspect. When I was called back in 1985, they were creating the G5 and all that. And I wrote to Reagan, I said, these people don't look at the world globally. They just look at the United States. And this idea of lowering the dollar by 40% to help the trade deficit. I wrote to Reagan, I warned him, I said, look, you're going to cause a crash in 2 years. Oh, well, why? I said, because you just sold a third of the national debt to Japan. Now you're saying you're going to devalue the dollar by 40%. They're going to lose money. They don't understand the foreign exchange. Collectively, society doesn't seem to learn from its past mistakes.
Markets. What are we looking at? Stock market, metals, gold, silver. Show us what the charts are saying.
Well, short term, you get a correction. You got people thinking there may be peace. Gold's been going up mainly on the war scenario. Although I've been called in, and I think the proposal that I did was asked to write. From what I've been told, I think it even made the desk of Putin. So a couple of days later, Lavrov came out and said Russia was willing to guarantee they're not interested in invading NATO. Of course, NATO doesn't care. They want war anyhow, so it doesn't matter what they say. They do the same thing in the Middle East. I'm not real optimistic of long-term peace deals.
So markets are being affected by war in the Middle East and in Ukraine. Silver back around $50, gold over 4,000. You mentioned last time when you were looking at the chart that when it hits 5,000, it could go to 10,000 very quickly.
Once the perception of peace evaporates again, then it's going to be, back on. So you're looking at just largely some consolidation. I'm not looking for a crash in the stock market or gold or silver or anything of that nature. I've said that before. And we get a lot of these people, oh, look at that chart. It's got a crash, 1929. All right. They don't understand the capital flows. 26 looks like to be a panic cycle year, not just in our war models, but also in the euro. Euro has been rising. Most likely, you're going to see 25 is the highest annual closing for the euro on this bounce. Once you start seeing the war over there, that first bullet flies, the capital is going to be running. A lot of people, you have international capital coming here, plus you have the flight from the blue states. And now you have Mandami in New York. Wall Street is moving to Boca Raton. Simple as that. Mandami is all right, free buses. Okay. You got people that sleep on the trains to begin with. All right. Homeless people. Are you real? It's not necessarily safe to use the subways. So now you're going to make the buses free. I don't know. Most of these ideas seem to be delusional at best. So the markets, I think, you're looking at some confusion short term. And then they're going to start, waking up probably the first quarter next year. This is, all going to be driven by international. That will be the main source of movement. And then you also have this domestic issue of migration from the blue states. I mean, just look at Newsom. We're going to put in an exit tax. We do, we'll just punish them if anybody wants to leave. So that will keep them here.
New Jersey did that, right? New Jersey has an exit tax. And how's that constitutional? It sounds like it's a violation of the Constitution where you got your free right to migrate and go wherever you want.
Yeah, no, listen, they wouldn't do these things if they weren't desperate for money. The fact that they are doing that is indicative of what I'm saying.
I don't see any hope for New York because the media is still playing like Wall Street is still the financial capital of the U.S. and the world. You were the first one to observe that that's not the case, that effectively Miami, which Miami is from Miami up to Palm Beach, is the new financial capital of the country. So how does New York survive this?
It doesn't really, because that is taking it to the extreme.
Gold and silver are going higher. When do they make their next move? Are they in a holding consolidation pattern now? Could you show us on the screen?
See, we've had like a 2-week correction so far, backing off a little bit on the monthly level. You're looking at panic cycles coming in by February. So that's why I say after the first quarter is where you're going to start seeing something really start to develop. Typically, a correction could be up to 3 time units. This is largely what you have at this stage in the game. From your October highs, you can go down into most likely into perhaps around January. Then you got a panic cycle in February. So it just looks like short-term corrections at this stage in the game and consolidation. Long-term bear market? No. The world is too unsettled for that.
How do you see Bitcoin like fitting into this? We always said the government could shut it down anytime they really wanted to. All they have to do is shut down every node, which is easier than many of you out there think. But in the meantime, it looks like it's flirting with going below 100,000. And yet the institutional interest in it, the derivatives market, kind of point to maybe that being short term.
Well, it basically shows that Trump probably bought the high.
You think so, huh?
Bitcoin is no different than copper or anything else. It's an asset. It's a trading vehicle. Okay. It can't possibly replace the dollar. That's all hyperbole, really. Oh, BRICS is going to, kill the dollar. We heard that with the euro. The bulk of the support for the dollar has got nothing to do with gold, the government, or anything else. First, you have the dollar has never been canceled. So 70% of the paper dollars are outside the country, and they're trusted because everybody else cancels currency. So you can hold dollars, but you can't hold a euro. All these countries that are basically emerging markets, they issue debt that's denominated in dollars, and they got to go to New York to sell it. This is what they did, before World War One. You can go on eBay and get bonds from China that were issued in British pounds. That's what they had to do to sell their debt. Okay, so that's the real strength behind the dollar. All right, you need financial markets that are not interfered with. You have to have a rule of law.
What's the asymmetric play to play these markets now, or to at least protect what you have?
Well, I don't think you're going to see a major crash. People are going for geopolitical reasons, etc., to moving to be safe, whatever. Honestly, the number one country right now is Uruguay. It used to be New Zealand. People have given up on that. Turns very socialistic with COVID and everything else. Uruguay is the new place where everybody's heading. It's going to be interesting. I wouldn't expect a crash at this stage in the game. Be careful after, particularly from February on next year, it's going to get a lot more volatile.
All right, so we're okay in the market for now, but metals are eventually going to be the play, huh?
Yeah, and the stock market. The two actually will go up, and I've been saying that. A lot of people are beginning to understand, because you had the gold bugs always saying, "Oh, gold goes up and stock market down." That's not true. Both are going up on geopolitical. So the big capital, it goes into the stock market. It's a bigger market that can absorb money. Just look at it from the Dow, shows you the institutional money. S&P is second, and the third is NASDAQ. So when the Dow leads, as this rally was all the way up, and we're showing you foreign capital coming in. If the NASDAQ is leading, then that's local retail money.
Got a question from a viewer out there by the name of Cindy. She wanted to know, what is the story with platinum? Will it eventually go back and be higher priced than gold?
Maybe not, but longer term, you have number one producer, South America. Second is Russia. Its main use has been like in car manufacturer, catalytic converters. It's come down largely because when you start going to electric cars, they'll need it. It's a different ballgame.
Can you just take a look at Tesla and tell us what you think that's going to do?
Short term, you're starting to roll over a little bit. It looks as though you're getting the directional change here in November. It's a higher volatility. It basically is going to start next year.
It seems like 2026 is really a pivotal year then, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it's coming up as a panic cycle, just not in war, but also like the euro, which is indicative that, the computer showing it does not like Europe. Look, you've even had both the UK and the finance minister of France say that they might need an IMF bailout. Look at Starmer. He is absolutely insane. But look, Starmer is the same thing as all this extreme leftist idea. People have to understand, socialism isn't for you. Socialism is for government. It gives them more power. Vote for me and I'll give you this and I'll give you that. It's all about bribing.
I guess we've about run out of time here, Martin. Make sure you go to Armstrong Economics. Be there at the WEC. It starts on November 22nd in Orlando. I will be there. The book, again, is The Armstrong Economic Code, The 5 Truths Investors Must Never Forget. And hey, we'll be there then. If you buy the book before and you're at the conference, I'm happy to sign it for you. Otherwise, we will have books at the conference that you can get. And if you've got a question for myself, Martin, KL@kerrylutz.com. Martin, always a pleasure, and we will talk to you and see you very shortly, like in 12 days.
Oh, thank you. Take care of yourself over there.
The Financial Survival Network.